Welcome to another week of Rooted and Raw. Hey guys, so welcome to Rooted and Raw. I am Dee. So glad that you are back with us. If you are joining us for the first time, you can go check out our previous podcast. Great information there. I'd like to go ahead and start introducing the ladies who I have with me.
Hello, I am Tam, or Baby D.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherita.
And hello, podcast queens. My name is Flora.
Yes. And man, we are most of the Rooted and Raw crew. We still haven't been able to have Jaemi on, but her time is a coming. I can't wait for you to get a chance to meet her. And
get
then, of
ready.
course, we've always got our beautiful, wonderful, talentedly creative Stephanie behind the scenes. So we thank you so much for everything you do. We can't do it without you.
This is a fact.
All right. Well, before we jump into today's topic, let's talk about seasons. So we're living in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where you can get all the seasons in a day.
This is true.
Yes.
So with that being said, it's currently spring here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. What is your favorite season of the year when there's actually a season, and why?
Okay. So my favorite season of the year is winter, which is not Dee's
At
favorite
all. Not
season.
even a little bit.
I love winter because I was born in December. So
Yes.
I absolutely love I love the fact that it's holiday season. I love the festivities. I love snow because we don't get it. And so my heart just feels very childlike anytime that I see snow or get to experience snow. I grew up in Germany, so we had chances to experience snow,
Real
but also real snow,
Real
but
snow.
but also it would snow to the point that when the sun came out, it didn't melt right away. So
Yeah,
it was
it
kind of
takes its
like
time.
a warmth in the snow. And people like look at me crazy when I say like I just want it to be warm but snowy. But that I remember experiencing
I get you.
it. Yeah.
'Cause I was there. I lived it. So
Yeah.
I
Sounds a
know.
little.
Yeah.
It would snow so much
Psycho.
that you could play in the snow, but there would be a sense of warmth. Like you'd get hot in your jacket because,
That picture a postcard
yeah,
moment. That's what it is.
exactly. So,
All
Trina.
right, Sherita.
Cannot say that I agree with the winter. So, although I enjoy the warm weather, I'm going fall. Fall is my favorite season, not only for the smells, but the colors, the boots. I get to put on my boots
Your boots,
and my sweaters
yes.
and just enjoy everything about the fall when the leaves go from vibrant to that they're slowly turning orange and red and yellows. And it's right before they die in the winter. But it's definitely that fall weather that I'm after.
That's good.
So for me, I'm with Tam. Also, December,
gross.
baby. Love the whole winter wonderland. You know, growing up in Cali, didn't have a lot of
Yep.
lot of snow. Got to go to Big Bear to do that, but it's nothing compared to Journey Snow or upstate New York,
Yep.
which I also had stayed in it. But like that whole glittery. Now I understand there's that mush afterwards. Okay,
yeah.
not a fan of that, but like having the fireplace going on, those warm cooked meals, yes, the festivities too.
Yeah.
It just gives us different ambience of calm and serenity. It's just like peaceful, but that's for me.
Yeah.
I
No,
enjoy that.
That's for us.
That's for us.
That's for
yeah.
us. We'll take
Y'all
it.
can
It's
have
for
it.
us.
I'm going to give it to you.
Y'all can definitely have that. I was also born in the winter. And I also love the holidays. I do. Yeah, my body operates off of the weather. And so I loathe being cold. So no, winter is not a thing, which is one of the reasons why I don't pick the spring either, because, well, at least here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, in the spring,
It's no such thing.
it's still, it's, I mean, today is hot. Tomorrow it could be like
60.
snowing. So,
Yeah.
so I'm going to have to join my sis Sherita on the fall. One, because it is the start of the holiday season. Also, the kids go back to school. So my light bill goes down, my grocery bill goes down. For those of you
that's
who
right.
don't know, there's a such thing as homeschool, and then your kids go to public school, private schools, charter school. Like, my kids are not homeschooled. So they're only home during the summer. So I look forward to kids going back to school.
Amen.
And my bills going down a little bit. I also love the look of the trees and although I'm not an outdoors person, so I'm looking at them trees from the window. Yeah, 100%. Also, the bugs are starting to go away in the fall. It's the start of all the festivities that I love to partake in. So also, it's still warm for quite a while.
It is.
In the fall. Like, I think here in Fayetteville, we were in December when winter actually started, which is crazy to me, because in Kansas City, where I'm from, you feeling winter weather in like September, October.
See, that's why you don't like the
It is
the
probably
winter,
the reason
because you
why.
had it
Because it
growing
was
up.
real. It
Yeah.
was a for real
was
winter.
real,
This
yeah.
for
It
play
was
winter
there.
we have, which I'm grateful for. It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I live here. So yeah, I love the fall. How are y'all holding up with the yellow snow?
It's disgusting.
That's the worst.
I don't even attempt to wash my car. Honestly, I just wait for it to rain, because then
Right.
it's right back there.
Let the
next
rain
day.
do its job.
Exactly. God, God washes my car for me.
Yeah, I wish
Shout
I
out to my
could say
daddy.
that, but shout out to your daddy, girl. I'm definitely getting her cleaned at all times, but that's because I'm about that life inside and outside. So yes,
Respect.
it gets rain. The rain washes it off, but I need the inside clean. How are we with allergies? Anybody bothered by the yellow snow?
I've been blessed to not.
As long
good.
as it doesn't directly hit my eyeballs, and that is, when you outside and you can just see the yellow dust just
Oh, yeah.
ugly.
That
blowing in the
cloud.
wind. Yes,
That was
you
us
get
at the golf tournament.
Oh yeah.
all that yellow dust just flowing with the wind. You can just see it, just swooshing. As long as it
Full
doesn't
of
hit
Van
me
Gogh
directly,
painting.
in my eyes.
I
I'm
like to
pretty
turn the
good.
windshield wiper on and just watch it go.
Yep.
The kids are like,
just
"That's
blows.
gross." I'm like, "That is disgusting."
Yeah.
So I have allergies all year long. So I take meds all year long, which
Yeah.
means when this time comes, it's just another
Another
time
day.
of just making sure you making sure you're not missing your meds at this time of the year. I have to tell a funny story about the about the yellow snow. So I was in the military. I served as a United States soldier for the Army. And so in basic training, you have to do the gas chamber. And in the gas chamber, there was this like yellowish gas. And so not too long after, now mind you, well, I'll tell a story. So not too long after I got out of basic and AIT, I'm traveling to South Carolina from Georgia. And I'm driving down the street and I'm talking to my boyfriend at the time. This is years ago. I'm talking to my boyfriend on the phone at the time, who's also a soldier. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think it's a terrorist attack.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I guess I was like, he was like, what? And I was like, I think it's a terrorist attack. He was like, why would you say that? And I was like, because I'm driving down the street and there's this yellow gas in the air and it's freaking me. And I'm like driving and I'm trying to shut all of the vents that's in the car. And I'm like, what do I do? Do I pull over? Do I run into? I see a McDonald's and get off the highway. And he's like, he's laughing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, that would set me off.
And I was like, why are you laughing?
Right.
And he was like, because that's not gas. And I was like, well, what could it be? And he was like, it's pollen. And I said,
Oh my goodness.
you can't see pollen. And he was like, in the South?
Yeah,
yes,
can.
you
Yeah,
can.
you can.
See, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. You don't see pollen. You know it's
Oh,
there.
my
You know it
goodness.
exists, but you never see it. It scared my whole entire self because I remember what I felt like in that gas chamber.
You already
PTSD.
trained. You're ready. You know what to
Listen,
do.
I'm like, I'm here for it, but I'm driving down the highway and my vents. Yeah, so yeah, me and the yellow
my
snow,
goodness.
and hey, so if you don't live in the South where you
Right.
can see it, just know it is a real thing that is in the air. It's seen. It's on every physical thing. It's inside your car.
It is inside
It's
your car.
inside.
Yeah,
It's
I don't even
inside
put my
inside
windows
the
your
down.
car.
It's like by the time I open my door and I get in, covered.
That's it.
Yeah,
My
so-
coworker told me he went to bed the other night, and him and his wife, they opened the windows, and by morning it was pollen all over the nightstand, the window sill. It all just blew right through the
Yeah.
window. So he had
Tragic.
to polish everything,
That's tragic.
wood furnish.
Yeah, so I don't like the spring because of the yellow snow, and I don't like the winter because of the white snow. There we go.
Hey, you balanced
Agreed.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna get into it. For those of you who this is your first time, what we do is we pull a topic from our R&R topic box, so Rooted in Real topic box, and it's basically just got a bunch of random questions that real women who are going through real life scenarios and situations have questions about, but we keep them rooted in the faith, in the word. So Tamara is pulling our topic for today's conversation.
I was gonna say, just get one. Just get one.
Yeah, because we can. Are we being timed? Because you know how we get in it. Okay.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
How do I heal from sexual shame
Oh,
or
my word.
trauma?
Oh Jesus.
I would be the one to pick this.
Okay.
Rooted and raw.
Rooted and raw. All right.
and
So let me
raw.
put this disclaimer out real
Yes,
quick.
the raw part.
I've said it, everyone. I'll say it again. Nobody on this podcast is a theologian. We are answering these questions based off of our real life experiences, combined with the truth of God's word. So we're just going to be rooted in his word and what he has for us, but raw in his truth, and then in our own experiences.
Yeah.
So
We also are not paid therapists or counselors. We are not. I do not have a degree in that area
I do, but I
of
ain't-
expertise.
I got one, but I'm not licensed, so don't be going to tell nobody. Well, Dee said it. I take no credit for this. Is just us having real conversation.
Conversation,
I
yeah.
also like what Sherita said in our last podcast. She said at shoot, I lost what you said.
Just that fast.
Just
Okay.
that fast. I'm
all right.
It'll
come back.
Age is real, y'all.
It's real.
Age
don't be
is
saying that.
real. I'm so sorry, sis. You about to join me over on the other side. It's real out here.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
Yeah, I forgot that fast. Anyway, this Rooted and Raw. Do you want to start? Because you said I would.
I
pick
would
that
be the
topic.
one. I feel like you know how Sherita picked the one last
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she was like,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's how I feel reading
for
that.
sure.
So how do I heal from sexual trauma or shame? I mean, the first thing I'm always gonna say is go to the Bible.
Yeah.
There is a lot of things that the Bible does kind of touch on with that
Yeah.
specific thing. I personally do have this exact thing, and how I am still currently healing from it is very much taking it to God. I mean, I don't know, and I actually don't have all the answers at all. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to overcome my experiences that I have had, but I will say where I have found healing from what I have experienced is recognizing and understanding that what I went through isn't who I am. And that goes back to what we were talking about last week about our identity, and just knowing and understanding. Honestly, I found out that this is actually a very common thing, especially with women. Like, when you start opening up to people, sometimes, you know, obviously in the right circumstances, don't just go telling everybody all your business. But when you talk about what you have experienced, it is actually very common. Unfortunately, it's sad that it is a truth. That many women do experience this exact thing, but that has given me not necessarily a form of peace. I don't want to say that like as if it's a good thing, but to know that I'm not alone.
Right. That right there.
And so I have put myself in what I used to call the dirty word, which is therapy. I was terrified to go back to therapy. I had tried it twice before. And it was meeting D, who she was like, girl, you need help. You need some help. You need professional help. You know, like she said, I'm not licensed, baby. I don't have the answers, but I know somebody who might. And so I actually prayed for my therapist because I was afraid to go back. And so I said, God, if you want me to go to therapy, then you have to give me somebody who is worth going for, because I'm not willing to open myself up. And let me tell you what, I love my therapist so much. I talk about her all the time.
Yeah, she does.
We have grown our relationship to being, I don't want to say more than therapist and client relationship, but it really is. I told her that I value her as a spiritual mother. I value her as a spiritual sister. Awesome. And I genuinely enjoy being able to go and talking to her, and like, I'm thankful for the advice that she has. And even then, she doesn't have all the answers either, but she has been able to help me walk through these specific things. So yeah, first I'd say from my experience, I've taken it to God. God, why did this happen? And he might not give the answer as plain as we would like or we would hope, but he wants to take your ashes and give you beauty. And so even though he didn't put me in those circumstances, he definitely helped take me out. That was the first time that I experienced the Holy Spirit, like in very raw, like, this is my presence and I'm here and you need to leave this situation. You don't need to be here. That was the first time I got to experience him. So I found him in it. He helped me get out of it. And even now to this day, it's been years. I think here in 2 years, it'll probably be like 10 years, that I got taken out of that. And I'm still learning how to overcome and how to heal from it. Go ahead.
So I'm going to say this. Everyone who's listening, this is Sherita. Yes. Everyone who's listening might not be saved, might not be a believer, might not be Christian, might not know the Bible, but my response to this is still going to be the same to everyone. If you do not know what prayer is, it's so simple as opening your mouth and having a conversation with the person next to you. Pray about what you just went through. You can ask God all the questions. Even if you don't understand, you don't know why, if it hurts, pray about whatever has happened to you and talk to God. If you can't talk to no one else, talk to God, because he is listening. And like Tamara said, he will answer you. It might not be A, B, C, D, but you're going to receive something from what he has to tell you. And I will also say, it does not hurt to go to the police. A lot of people do not like that word police, because some might feel they aren't as helpful as they would like for them to be. But you can go to the police. If you have been raped, if you have been molested, if you have been sexually traumatized in any way, you can go to the police. You can go to a friend. You can go to a parent. Even, and some might not be able to. Some might not be able to. It might be a parent. It might be a friend who has done this to you.
Yeah.
But understand that you have a way out. You have an escape. You have someone that you can communicate with. And if you don't, find someone that you can.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because statistically, it is someone who is in the household, someone that you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it usually starts off, unfortunately. And yeah, just saying it to someone. I mean, even if you have to say it to someone that it's just an acquaintance, just saying it out there. If you don't know, like, just say something.
Right.
Something to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this would be, so of course, always starting with, going to God, going to, him in prayer, automatically, right? But this one is directly to the listeners, the viewers who are believers. One thing I know for sure is that as many things that we go through in life, there are so many hard things. We make them harder when we try to do it alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't think of one situation in my life that was difficult that could not have been easier to go through had I not tried to do it by myself. Because there was a point in my life then when these kinds of things were happening, I was trying to do them alone.
Right.
It's when we try to weather the storm by ourselves. Listen, the Bible tells us you are not meant to do life alone. Now, I know that in the context in which it's saying it, it's talking to Adam and God is about to give him Eve. But I believe that actually was meant for us in general, not just in a spouse situation, but in a real life relationship.
Right. Yep.
We are not meant to do this life alone. So when we are doing life alone and these kinds of circumstances come up, any circumstances really,
Right.
but in this one particular, it is this kind of stuff where we see suicide attempts or suicides, when we see anxiety and depression. This is not me saying, disclaimer, this is not me saying that suicide and I mean that anxiety and depression don't happen when you have community.
Right.
This is me saying that you are more equipped to walk through it if you have, okay, let me back up. Not just any community, okay?
Right.
Good, rooted community
Yeah.
who you can walk this thing through. I believe it might have been Pastor Michael, it might have been Chris, it might have been both. But somebody said once, it was Pastor Michael Fletcher. Just got it in my head. He said, at no point should anyone not have someone's 2-3 people in their life that they don't trust with everything. Everything. He said, if you're married, that first person should be your spouse, right? But then he said you should have somebody outside of that because sometimes your spouse is the problem.
It's the problem.
Sometimes, we rooted and raw, right? So sometimes the spouse is the problem. So you should never be in a place in your life where there isn't someone that you can trust. You know that you can go to them and share this information. I am not saying that sharing the information with someone is going to take the pain away.
Right.
What I'm saying is going to someone whom you trust is going to mean that you don't have to burden the pain alone.
Right.
It is when we do it alone that we find ourselves in the darkest moments because we are trying to live out life in one aspect and in a totally different idea in another because we are carrying those burdens all by ourselves. So it's one of those, if you don't have a good circle of sisters around you,
Yeah.
who they're somewhere in there, or your spouse who you don't have somewhere to go, then I would advise you, kind of like we said in last week's podcast, I would advise you that you begin to start looking at your circle even now. And don't wait. One of y'all said it. Don't wait until the problem is a problem to
Right.
then seek out friendships.
You need friends before you need friends.
You need
Yeah.
friends before you need friends.
Especially for something like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you do have that, that shame or that guilt. And part of that healing process that's just one aspect of it that can
Right.
be very difficult. But then it comes to a part where you have to forgive.
Ooh.
See us next week on
She said the magic
The
word.
magic word.
yeah.
That forgiveness there, whether towards the other person, but to yourself,
Right.
that is a huge part of that healing process,
Right.
of being able to forgive.
Yeah.
Well, and so one of the things I do want to say, because she said forgiving yourself, I want you to understand, right? Like, if we think about forgiveness in the context in which it was originally created, which is in the idea of a debt, right? A debt that is
Right.
owed, right? That's the idea of forgiveness, and where it stems from in the word aspect. We can't actually forgive our own debt. So if we're carrying something and we feel like we can't forgive ourselves, what we're really saying is we can't accept the forgiveness that God has given
Yeah.
to
Right.
us. If you have went to God and asked him to forgive you for this thing, which in this context, it's kind of hard because you haven't actually done anything wrong.
Right.
For whatever reason, you feel like you have, and now you
Right.
went and talked to God about it, and you still feel like, I just can't forgive myself. Then all you're saying is that I went to God and asked him for forgiveness, and I don't feel like he's forgiven me.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can't forgive your own debt. But in this particular situation, you don't even have a debt to be forgiven, because
Right.
you haven't done
Done
anything wrong.
Right.
But as women, now I know there may be male listeners, but I'm speaking directly to the women right now because I'm a woman and I know about them a little bit more than I know about men. As women, we don't do very good at we have a gifting in blaming ourselves for everything.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
blame ourselves for everything. There are things that we could not possibly have created for ourselves, and we blame ourselves. We blame ourselves for every time our kids do something. We blame ourselves for every time our spouse do something. We blame ourselves when a perfect stranger comes and hurts us. We take the fault in everything. So then I would say we need to start talking about why we feel the need to take the blame on everything. Now, I'm not saying, disclaimer, I'm not saying that we don't have faults in some areas.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we should totally own up to the bad decisions that we make when we make bad decisions. But it's the stuff that we don't have any control of.
Yeah.
And we'll take responsibility for it and then carry it.
Yeah. I'd say also too something that I talked about in previous episodes is, I loved past tense my microwave. And it is important to know and recognize and understand that, especially in this context, this will not be a microwavable journey
At all.
Right.
healing from the trauma that you have experienced, especially in this manner, is something that is very much going to take time. And this is something I was explaining to Dee a couple days ago, is that I feel like my healing journey, especially right now where God has me, is like a hurricane season. Like I have beautiful days. Like, it had just rained, so the weather's like pretty nice. Beautiful breeze going on. It's super sunny day. I'm enjoying the highs that God has me on. And I feel like not even 2 days later, all of a sudden I'm back in my valley. Like I'm back in the middle of a storm. Things are flooding. I'm scared, and everything, everything that could go wrong is going wrong. And But then 2 days after that, I'm back on a high with God, because my healing season right now where I am, I'm going to have those dark days.
Right.
But I have to know and understand that just like every year, the hurricane season only lasts for so long. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? So the healing, I will come on the other side of this, and I will be grateful. Honestly, it sounds crazy, but if you have been through things, you know that I'm grateful that I experienced that, because now there's somebody later on down the line who's going to need my testimony, who's going to need my story,
exactly.
who's going to need me to be able to share with them, like, yes, this did happen to me. And no, I'm not that person. I'm not a victim. I am an overcomer. Like
Right there, overcome.
I walked through these things, and yes, it sucked. And, you know, but at the same time, like, now I'm willing, or not willing, now I'm able to help you walk through this
Yes.
because of the fact that I've been through it. So I have learned recently in this healing season that I am grateful for the things that I have experienced, and no, I wouldn't go back and change them, which sounds crazy, but I can't wait for the day that I get to mentor somebody through what it is that they're going through. I get to help somebody heal and walk through what it is that they're going through, because I have experienced it.
It's the way of turning the things around and stuff.
Exactly.
To, taking a negative experience
It's
into
the beauty
something
for ashes.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beauty for
And letting know, like, hey, look, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I know this sucks. And, you know, because I personally went through
Yeah.
it, but you can overcome it.
Right.
Piggybacking off of things Dee and Tamara both said, I thought about that saying, a closed mouth don't get fed.
Right.
And a lot of
Right.
people think that saying is talking about food. No, it's talking about you being able to talk and speak and say whatever it is. So I'm not coming from a place where I don't know what I'm talking about. I've dealt with sexual trauma. I've dealt with sexual manipulation. So I'm coming from a place where I've been through this, so I can speak on it because I know, and I can talk and I can say what it is, because if I hold it in and keep it to myself, like you said,
Yeah.
somebody might need my testimony. Somebody might need to hear what I've been through because they've been through it and they don't know how to talk about it, or they're going through it and they don't know how to get out of it. So it's like people around you might need to hear that somebody has been through this. So I'm not alone. I don't feel
Right.
alone. I don't feel like I'm by myself in this. There's no one out there who's going through what I'm going through. We have been through things. We have been, I'm about to be 42. So I have been through things in my life, and I can speak on some things. I don't know everything, and I won't claim to know or have the answers to everything, but I'm going to open my mouth and I'm going to speak, and I'm going to give my testimony and share so that other people know
Yeah.
they're not alone.
Right.
And that's what's awesome about this podcast too, because we are able, for those people that
Yep.
do not have those people that around them, or, you know, as most of us, you know, we try to do things on our own.
Yeah.
This is just maybe like that stepping stone. It's like, oh man, you know, there is other people that understand me, that may have, that are gone through it, and maybe, you know, having them seek out and help out and helping out.
Yeah, well, and this is so good, because the reality is this: the Bible teaches us that our lives are not our own. So the things that we go through, they are for us in that moment, sure, but we are never meant to keep that to ourselves. We are meant to use those. There is no testimony without a test, right?
Right.
There is, we literally can't understand the testimony. We can't have anything to say thank you, Jesus, for if we haven't had the need to say thank you, Jesus. So the things that we experience, and this is not me trying to make light of things like sexual trauma. Never will I ever. That is a very sensitive and hard subject. But at the end of the day, you are in this time, and you have a process of healing that you'll have to go through, and it is going to be a difficult one, especially when you're talking about getting to a place of forgiveness and peeling back the layers of that onion, right? Because you
Right.
may forgive them on this level, but then you triggered by something, and now that's really God just saying, now it's time for me to pull back a new layer of
Right.
this onion where you need to, because sometimes people say, well, I swear I forgave them. Why am I upset? No, you did forgive them at this level.
Right.
But now there's a deeper level that God wants to do some more work in, and he's pulling back a layer of that onion because there's a new level. And there are some things that you get hit in the head with, or you get hit with in life, and the forgiveness is fast and simple. Like, I always use the analogy of, like, you're outside, right, and you're playing football with your friends, and the friend throws the ball at you, and they hit you in the head with the ball, and they come say, "I'm sorry," and you say, "Oh no, it's all good. I've forgiven you."
Yeah.
But my head still hurts because that ball came fast. I realize that seems so simple, but that's the reality. Just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean the pain is gone.
Right.
Right. You're gonna have that bump coming in the
that
next
bump is
day or
coming
two.
in.
It's like,
What that forgiveness is doing is saying, I'm not going to carry the burden of dealing with what you did to me.
Right.
I'm going to hand that off to Jesus. Because at the end of the day, I can't deal with that like God.
Right.
I can't deal with that like God can. And so a lot of times we try to walk this out in a way where we think we can handle it by ourselves. We need God. We need others. And walking that out looks like being vulnerable.
yeah.
Being willing to know that my God is good. My God is sovereign, and he always and only does what is right. That's not to say that he created this bad situation. Right. That's just saying that he can use it. Not only is he not able to win the battles, he's also able to use them.
Right.
So while you're thinking that this thing that you've experienced, whatever it is just a lost cause, somewhere along the way, God is doing some things in you so that you can be able to help someone else who comes alongside of you later.
Right.
And they're sharing this thing, and you can say, okay, I've actually walked that out before.
Right.
Let me come alongside you and walk with you. It's going to be a process. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an overnight. We can't microwave this one. But I promise you, the hours that it's going to take for you to be in that crock pot, I'm willing to walk alongside you if you just let me.
I got two things. So the first thing is, I like how our podcast come full circle, because we previously talked about identity. And I feel like some people might take their trauma and make that their identity. And the thing that happened to you, though it is valid, it does not make you who you are.
Right.
And it don't label yourself.
Right.
Don't label yourself with your trauma. Don't label yourself with what happened or the situation, because you, like I said, you are more.
Right.
You are more than what happened to you. You are more than what that person did to you. And of course, the second thing doesn't escape my mind, but just know, like,
Age is real.
Yeah, it's real.
crying.
I'm gonna blame it on age. I promise.
No,
you.
don't don't be telling me that.
And honestly, to piggyback off of that goes back to what I said earlier about the fact that, like, me in my personal experience, I don't identify as a victim. I don't. Yes, I went through things, you know what I'm saying, but I overcame them. He brought me out of those things. So no. Will I allow what happened to me to now become my identity and say, like, oh, this is who I am now. This is who he said I was when I was going through everything, when he was doing those things to me. Like, he said I was this, so now it must be true. No. Clearly, you know what I'm saying, that man was going through things that he needed help for. And that has nothing to do with me. Just because I was in the experience that I was in doesn't mean that now all of a sudden that's who I am. No, instead I am an overcomer. God took me out of that. And again, like we have been saying this entire time, and he will use that experience. I don't know what that looks like yet. I don't know who it is that I will come in contact with that will say, "Hey, this is what I'm going through," like. And then God will tell me, like, share your story with her, you know, share your story with him. I mean, I don't know, with this person who needs to hear what it is that you went through, because now, and this goes back to what Sherita was saying earlier about you never know, like when you ask God, like, God, why? It might not be tomorrow that he gives you the answer. It might be years down the line that he says, hey, Tamara, you remember that night when you were crying in your room and you asked me, God, why? This is the reason why. Share your story and just watch to see how you bless somebody
else
who's going through something.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, a lot of times we think that this only happens to women. It happens to women, it happens to men, it happens to girls, it happens to boys. The thing is, men don't like to talk about it because they feel like it makes them less of a man.
Emasculates them.
It can't be farther from the truth.
Yeah.
You, back to identity,
Yeah,
it's
right there.
not who you are. What happened to you does not make you a man or make you less of a
Right.
man. Holding on to it, balling it up, keeping it inside, holding it in. You got to talk about these things. Like you said, that, like Tamara said, it is for someone. It might not even be for you. And then you have the question, well, why would God allow me to go through this? Because your story, your testimony is definitely going to save, help someone else. Might not be something you want to go through, but
Well, and the reality is, and we've touched this before, but I want to go back to it because you just said that question that people ask all the time, and it's not just with sexual assault. It's when you lose a mother or a father or a child or whatever the case may be. Why would a God that you, D, just told me is good and sovereign and always and only does what is right, why in the world would he allow this to happen? Okay, so one of two things are taking place here. Either a lot of times it's us. Sometimes we make really bad decisions, right? And things happen, consequences.
Right.
But most of the time it's just really a result of a fallen world. We live in a fallen world. We were never meant to really experience any
All of
of
this
the
stuff,
things
right.
that we experience, the hurt, the pain, the devastation, the sickness. These things were not originally what we were supposed to experience. But because of the fall,
Right.
life be lifing. I don't know how
Yeah.
else I can say it that is plain. Because of the fall, life be lifing.
Yeah.
And that means that it comes along with these kinds of devastations, and we want to say, well, what did I do wrong? Maybe you didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Maybe it's just the result of a fallen world.
Yeah.
Right.
There are some times when things happen to us because we did something wrong. We was driving down the street going, 80 in the 60 zone and swerved too fast and hit a pole. Well, the result of that is now you've been in an accident, and there's a whole bunch of other things that come alongside that, and that is one of those areas where it is 100% on you because you made the decision, you made the choice to do a
Right.
thing that is not right. It is technically a sin because the Bible says we follow the laws of the land, right?
now I'm
Unless
going to throw in
they-
a disclaimer.
I was about to say, unless the laws of the land have you doing something that's against the word, against the Bible, then we don't do those laws. But for the sake of this specific scenario,
Yeah.
if you were doing that thing wrong and a consequence like an accident came from it, you're going to have to take responsibility. Even if you don't want to, you're going to have to because you're
Right.
going to have to pay. Your insurance is going up and all these other things. But in situations where people get sick
Yeah.
and pass away, that's a result of a fallen world. And those words probably doesn't make anybody feel better about them, but it's the reality. It's the reality of the world we live in. Regardless, if we are walking this life out with others, then when those things happen, we don't have to endure them alone. We don't have to carry the weight of them alone.
I think something that God has been showing me lately, and I'm super grateful for it, is in that sense that I don't have to do things alone. Not only in my community, He has given me you guys, beautiful community. I'm super grateful for, but He has been actually visually showing me that in all of those times of darkness, that He was right there. And so in all of the times that as a little girl I felt like I was alone, the times that I hid under my bed, you know what I'm saying, the times that I cried at night, you know, putting myself to sleep and felt like God, or not even God, why am I alone, but I just feel like I don't even have Him to talk to. He has shown me and replayed my childhood in different scenarios of like, no, I am very much right there with you. I always was. When you were under the bed, I was there with you. When you were crying under the sheets, I was there with you. Like when you were experiencing what you were experiencing in that time, I never left you. Hence why I called you out that day. The last time that you saw Him and I told you to leave, and I made sure that you knew that it was me. I was there. I never left you. And so I think it's important even now that I'm in this healing season and remembering those traumas, those triggers, like God is still very much telling me, hey, I never left you before. I'm not leaving you now. It's one of my favorite verses. It talks about how He continuously holds my right hand. That imagery that I, as His child, am always holding on to Him, regardless of where I go, or even the footprints in the sand. I don't know if you've ever seen that poster. You know what I'm saying? You got two sets of footprints, and then there's one set of footprints, and it feels like you're going through the storm. And the person asks, like, God, you know, there was only one set of footprints. Where did you go? He's like, I was holding you.
I was scared.
It wasn't you walking by. I didn't leave you. I was carrying you.
Those
You know what I'm
His
saying?
feet, not yours.
Exactly. It's that picture, that image that has been a very vital part of my healing journey through this specific topic is knowing and understanding that I was never left alone. And even now He's like, okay, like I know it felt like you were alone, so I'm gonna give you people to talk to. I'm gonna give you people that will pour into you and know they didn't experience the same exact thing that you did, but they did experience something similar, and they have life-giving advice to give you. Yeah.
All right, ladies. So we're coming towards the end of our that was fast.
That was fast.
That was quick.
And I like how y'all just looked at me as soon as she said that.
Yeah.
I was like,
So let's do our last words to our listeners and viewers.
Yeah. So again, I say, I think the most important thing that I have to say for this specific topic is, I understand that you have been through something, but it does not define who you are. You are, like Sherita said, you are more than this trauma. You are more than this shame. Don't carry weight that isn't yours to carry. Cast your burdens onto the Lord. Genuinely give it to Him. Ask Him to help heal you from this. And then just remember that you are an overcomer. You are not a victim. You are more than that. You were created to be more than that. And yes, this circumstance is tough, but He is with you. He continuously holds your right hand, and He wants more for you than what you have experienced.
So Tamara was saying the verse, cast all your cares on Him, for He cares for you. That's your cares, your anger, your frustration. Just because it happened does not mean God does not love you. He's right there for you. He's with you, and He never left you. He doesn't leave you. He doesn't forsake you. He's right there with you. So just know that you're not alone, and God cares.
It's good.
yeah, just same thing as Sherita's. Like, I know during those times you may feel like you are alone. You're probably like the only one, but you truly are not. There's definitely people out there that understands you more than you think. So reach out, to at least one person that you can talk to, because that's all you need. You need God, and you need to at least that one person that you can reach out. So
all right, so I'm going to end with saying this. When it comes to trauma from sexual trauma, it's not nothing to play with. So I hope that you heard the hearts of our sisters today, trying to walk you through this process. I do want to say that if you are listening or watching and you have experienced any kind of trauma and you are in darkness and despair and feel alone, you are not. But even if you feel like you do, you can dial 988. It is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can call, you can text, you can chat. There's an official website. You do not have to do this alone. If you have questions, you are allowed to drop them in the chat, and we will read them, and we will pray for you and with you. We can even respond. We just need you to know that you don't have to do this alone. This is a very heavy topic, and I am not oblivious to that. So I want you to hear what I'm saying. You do not have to do this alone. Again, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is 988. You can call, text, or chat, or go to the official website. We love you. We're grateful that you are joining us in this, and we hope that you got something from this that's going to help you. As always, stay rooted, stay raw.